AITAH for not making my wife choose between me and her affair partner. As soon as I found out, I moved out and filed for divorce. Counseling is not on the table. An open relationship is out. I'm not interested in having anything to do with her again. She tried saying that if I asked she would choose me. Gross. I don't want her. Some of our friends think I should have fought for our marriage. I offer to sleep with them or their wives to see how they feel about the situation then. No one has taken me up on my kind and Christian offer. I am paying my half of the lease on the apartment. There are 4 months left. In the meantime, I'm going to work and spending my time off at all-inclusive resorts. It's cheaper than getting an apartment for myself. Am I the asshole for not trying to save our marriage? My wife has applied to be a surrogate without my knowledge. My wife 31F walks up to me 35M this morning and proceeds to tell me she applied and was approved to be a surrogate mother. We have been married for 2 years, together 7, have 2 kids of our own and have been trying for a third. She's a stay-at-home mum, I provide for the family. I'm clearly agitated by the situation. I'm not yelling and screaming mad, but I'm upset. This decision affects our entire family. Not only have we been trying for our own baby, but this is going to be hard on our family, on our relationship, on her body, her mental and emotional health. I've expressed all of this to her and all she can come up with is that it's a selfless act to help another family, which I understand it helps another family. But at what cost? Her marriage, her kids. I can't stop what I'm doing to take care of her when she's pregnant, especially if it's not my kid. I don't need or want the money she would be paid for carrying the child, as we are well off because of what I provide. So please Reddit, tell me how I'm the asshole. I probably won't have an update for a while. Ironically, this all had to transpire on Mother's Day, so she is currently out with her mother for the next few hours, and when she gets home I'm going to try to do something special for her with our kids. You know, because Mother's Day and shit. My husband says anyone but me would have found this funny. We're watching One Life, movie about the Holocaust and saving children, hopefully you've seen it. When we started it I reminded him that I am particularly sensitive to anything Holocaust related. Anyway, the part where people are writing in about being willing to foster. One letter says, we can take a boy, under 11, preferably brown hair. I say, that's fucked. Can you imagine? These babies are at risk of death. And you're worried about their hair color. His response, yeah, lol, I'd like a girl, 18, blonde hair. I am totally disgusted. You know those moments where you just lose respect for someone? I'm sorry, but that was one for me. Just, gross and so disrespectful to not only the topic, but to me as his wife. So, Reddit, he swears anyone on earth but me would have laughed. If I'm wrong, okay. What say you? TLDR, my husband thought it was funny to joke about fostering an 18-year-old blonde trying to escape the Holocaust. I did not laugh. Boyfriend had to wait for the shower to dry out because of me. So, I've been with my partner going on 9 months. I honestly love him to pieces. However, we're both very steadfast when it comes to our views, beliefs, etc. Today it was super hot and sticky and we decided to vacuum out the vents in the room to increase any airflow. I have terrible allergies, so he suggested I step out while he did this. Knowing it would only take 5 to 10 minutes, I stepped into the bathroom and took a literally 2-minute ice-cold shower. I had already showered earlier this morning. AMD just wanted to feel the cold water, so by the time I get out, he's finishing up, he gives me the all clear, and upon entering the room he's visibly pissed off. I ask what's wrong, and after some hesitation he tells me that he had planned on showering, but now would have to wait for the bathroom to dry out. I assure him the floor is dry and I cleaned up after myself, even adding in I had used cold water, so steam shouldn't be an issue either. He says, no, the shower. I can't be in it while it's wet or I might slip and fall. Now, I know people get on one another's nerves after a certain amount of time. But is this just picking? Or am I being insensitive here? Am I the asshole for getting an abortion and then filing for divorce? I 33F and my husband 35M have been married now for 2 years. While we were dating, the conversation of kids had come up multiple times and I had always expressed that I did not think I would be a good enough mother for my children, a lot of personal trauma earlier in life. He however had mentioned before that he would like to have kids, but he respected my thoughts and decision on the matter. I married him under this notion. Well, a couple months ago I had some suspicion that I was pregnant, went to the doctor, and she confirmed my suspicions. Thankfully I live in a state where abortions are legal and I thought about just going through with it on my own, but I decided to involve him in the process. As soon as I broke the news to him he immediately became overjoyed, saying how it was a great thing and he was so excited. I promptly reminded him of our conversation about me not wanting children. He decided that the conversation was so long ago he was sure I'd have changed my mind by now and tried persuading my every way he could. It got to the point where he was pleading with me to not kill his child. Well, I decided to go through with it. The next couple weeks or so after, he was extremely distant, muttered under his breath frequently, and would hardly look at me. I found out from my mill that he blames me for killing our child and he can't forgive me for it. AITA for not telling my sister my niece knew she was going to die. About 3 months ago my niece 15 had to get her appendix removed. She caught an infection from the hospital and has had complication after complication since then. About a month ago my niece texted and asked for a cute pair of pajamas and some Crocs for her to wear around the hospital. She had seemed to be improving, so I didn't think too much about her request. I picked him up and went to the hospital that day after work. When her mum left the room she told me she had been seeing her best friend and her grandma, both dead, for a little while and knew she was going to die. She made me promise not to tell her mum, to try to get her dad to visit, but also don't tell him they're recently divorced and he abandoned her too, and to take care of her mum when it does happen. A few days later I got a call from her mum. Her heart stopped while she was asleep. They were able to bring her back, but it was still pretty touch and go. I stupidly said something about how crazy it was that she knew it was going to happen and her mum asked what I was talking about. I told her about the conversation I had with my niece and how she swore me to secrecy. Her mum started yelling at me for keeping this from her and told me I wouldn't be allowed to see my niece. She eventually started letting me visit again because my niece was still asking for me, but I wanted to know if I was the AITAH for refusing to postpone my wedding for my sister's delivery. My sister just told me she's due to give birth on the same day as my wedding. She wants me to postpone the wedding so she can attend, but I've been planning this for over a year and everything is set. I feel like it's unfair to ask me to change everything last minute. We didn't know she was pregnant when we set the date. I get that childbirth is a big deal, but so is my wedding. My parents are siding with her, saying family should come first. But I don't want to rearrange everything and risk losing deposits, not to mention the hassle of rescheduling vendors and guests. I offered to have a live stream so she could watch, and I'd visit her in the hospital right after the ceremony. She called me selfish and now there's a big rift in the family. My fiancé is supporting me, but I can't help but feel like a villain. Am I really the bad guy here for wanting to keep my original wedding date? Would love to hear your thoughts on this.